Good morning everyone, we are Group 1 and for today's video we will talk about principles and guidelines of an effective language arts in multiliteracies curriculum. Guiding principles. Successful language learning involves viewing, listening, speaking, reading, and writing activities. Language learning involves recognizing, accepting, valuing, and building students' existing language competence, including the use of non-standard forms of the language and extending the range of language available to the students. What is interactive learning? Well, interactive learning is more hands-on, real-world process of relying information in classrooms. Passive learning relies on listening to teachers lecture or rote memorization of information, figures, or equations. But with interactive learning, students are invited to participate in a conversation through technology, online reading and math programs for instance, or through role-playing groups exercise in a class. First, develops thinking and language through interactive learning. When you were in the early elementary grades, it was probably the norm of an entire school to only have a handful of computers centralized in a lab and used only sparingly. Today's kids have grown up in a technology-rich environment. By the time they reach elementary school, sitting at a desk copying figures from a chalkboard is not playing into their strength as students. Passive learning definitely still has its place, as a kid needs to memorize facts and figures just as ever before. But more and more, schools have turned to interactive learning to inspire students and keep the teacher-student relationship vital. But how does effective learning help? Well, in addition to engaging students who are raised in hyper-simulated environments, interactive learning sharpens critical thinking skills, which are fundamental to the development of analytic reasoning. A child who can explore and open-minded questions with imaginations and logic is learning how to make decisions, as opposed to just regurgitating memorization information. Also, interactive learning teaches children how to collaborate and work successfully in groups, and indispensable skills as workplace become more team-based and structured. Second, develops communicative competence and critical literacy. What is communicative competence? Thus, communicative competence is partly constituted by social, verbal, and other communicatively relevant skills. Example, the capacities to perform complex social, verbal, or other patterns of behavior smoothly and adaptively. Critical literacy, on the other hand, views readers as active participants in the reading process and invites them to move beyond passively accepting the text message to questions, examine or dispute the power relations that exist between readers and authors. It focuses on issues of power and promotes reflection, transformation, and action. There are 8 tips how to develop communicative competence. First, state ideas clearly. Second, communicate ethically. Third, recognize when it is appropriate to communicate. Fourth, identify their communication goals. Fifth, select the most appropriate and effective medium for communicating. Sixth, demonstrate credibility. 7. Identify and manage misunderstanding. 8. Manage conflict.
Hello everyone, my name is Kristen Sana and today I'm going to discuss about the third guiding principle. The third guiding principle draws on literature in order to develop students' understanding of their literary heritage. Literature can help learners to develop their understanding of other cultures, awareness of differences, and to develop tolerance and understanding. At the same time, the literary text can deal with universal themes such as love, war, and the laws that are not always covered in sanitized World of Course book. To be followed by the fourth, that is to draw on informational text and multimedia in order to build academic vocabulary and strong content knowledge. To support the development of vocabulary in content areas, teachers need to give their students time to read widely, intentionally select word of worthy of instruction, model their own word solving strategies, and provide students with opportunities to engage in collaborative conversation.
Next is development students' oral language and literacy through appropriately challenging learning, in which it is a foundation for word reading and comprehension that also helps students to become a strong communicator. Next is emphasize writing arguments, explanatory or informative text, and narrative help students to convey information accurately and to develop their writing skills.
Here is another guidelines principle. Provide explicit skills instruction in reading and writing. Explicit instruction is a way to teach in a direct, structured way. When teachers use explicit instruction, they make a lesson crystal clear. They show kids how to start and succeed in a task. They also give kids plenty of feedback and chances to practice. These are the sequence step-by-step in explicit instruction. First one is identify a clear, specific objective. Break the information into chunks. Model with clear explanations. Verbalize the thinking process. Provide opportunities to practice, and lastly, give feedback. Another guidelines principle is build on the language experiences, knowledge, and interest that students bring to school. Typically, the language experience approach involves a shared experience such as everyday happenings, common school experiences, a classroom event or hands-on activity, excursion, but can also include students' personal experience or ideas. The teacher role in language experience is to support the students to recreate the experience orally as they capitalize on students' interests and experiences, prompt the students to reflect on the experience, ask questions to elicit details about the experience through more explicit language, help students to rehearse the ideas they will be writing about.
The ninth principle is nurtures students' sense of their common ground in using languages for communication as present or future global citizens to prepare them to participate in school and in civic life. We people uses different languages in our daily lives. As per students' situation, learning languages can help them to communicate with others, either professional or not. The way languages are produced, along with local languages such as slang, can show a lot about the people who speak it. While learning another language can increase your awareness of cultural differences, you will also gain a better understanding of why such differences exist and the significance of respecting cultures other than your own. Learning English provides the knowledge that you need to travel and communicate more effectively in so many parts of the world, allowing you to explore and travel with confidence while learning more about the nations and cultures you visit. As they learn more languages, especially English language, they can help themselves as global citizens, which allows them to participate for the present or future life in our school or civic life. The last principle of an effective language arts and multiliteracies curriculum is assesses and reflects the student's ability to interpret and or communicate in the target language. This principle allows the students to test their capability in regards to language proficiency, making feedback or reflections on how they use the target language will help them evaluate their language proficiency and to know which part needs to improve or enhance.